Hey, it's the weekly pint. Welcome back, or if it's your first time, welcome. Welcome, no matter what. You are all welcome. This is a show that is not really a show. It's a live stream, just an excuse to hang out and pretend like I'm having a beer with somebody over a bar, since that is a thing of the past as of right now. So, welcome, guys. Everybody, tell me what you're drinking, and I'm going to dive into one here in just a second, because you guys have to help me make a decision on what I'm drinking tonight. I have two options here, and maybe we'll get to both. I doubt it. It's usually hard to drink while I talk, so you get to pick what I drink tonight. The other one will probably go into the queue for episodes of Prost. So, which, don't let me forget, before the end of the stream, you guys get to pick what the next episode of Prost is. So don't let me forget that. I meant to try to figure out this poll. I think you can do a poll on Facebook and have it pop up on here or something, and I didn't even have time to figure that out tonight. So we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. I'll just ask you, and we'll do it. But anyways, I need to have a beer. West Side's Oktober. Oh, I haven't got any of that yet this year. West Side's Oktoberfest. The only Oktoberfest I have in my fridge right now, I've got a bunch of Saunders, and I just got a bunch of Mad Trees this weekend too. And I've had a few of the Saunders already. I actually drank a ton of them mowing the grass the other night. It was awesome. I have not had the Ziegler, the Oktoberfest from Mad Tree yet. I'm assuming it's pretty close to Marzin's Attack, but I don't know yet. So what I'm drinking tonight, I have two different beers from Broken Throne Brewing. They are down in Pikeville, Kentucky. Middle of nowhere, depending on how you, depending on where you live, I guess. This is the Golly Stotcher. That's a hazy IPA with Trident, Mosaic, Citra, and Centennial hops, 6.8%. I'm actually really curious to try that one. And then the other one is their Broken Blue. It's a blueberry lager. Also curious to try that one, but either way, well, we'll dig into that after I dive into the beer. But so you guys tell me which one I should crack open, and tell me quickly because I'm thirsty. I've got one of my favorite glasses that I'm drinking out of tonight too. This Spaten like quarter-liter glass. It's real tiny, and it's just really fun to drink out of. Didn't have time to wait for a growler fill when I swung by West Side. Gonna get some fast beer on my next trip there. Yeah, I think I'm waiting to hear back. And actually, there's a couple places I still need to reach out to confirm what they're making this year, if they're making it. All right, blueberry it is. But if all goes the way I want it to go, I was planning on actually having it up today, but I might wait and do it either tomorrow or Wednesday. The big Oktoberfest beer rundown for Cincinnati. So every Oktoberfest beer in the city, man, that can is about as full as a can can possibly be. I don't know if you guys can't see that. It's too much work to try to get it so you can see too. When you open it, the beer is actually higher than the hole where you open the can. I don't know how that's physically possible. Hang on, you gotta just try to get this on camera so you can see it. That's really difficult to do. There's no way you can see that, right? No. Anyways, it's super, super packed full of beer, so that's fun. I guess that's better for the beer in theory, right? So this is a blueberry lager. Those are real blueberries. Whenever you drink a blueberry beer, and when you open it up, it's colored like beer, you know it's probably not real blueberries. I guess I should hold the can out so I can read it a little bit. This one is 5.5%. The can, and I'll go into the story of kind of my connection with them. Broken Throne Brewing was founded by 5 guys with a common love for beer and a desire to rebuild the kingdom they live in. The can you are holding supports this mission to rebuild the throne that was once broken. #ForTheThrone. And then it says, break down the tyranny of boring beer. And then the government warning. And that's about it. If you guys are beer podcast nuts, the way I am, I love podcasts and I love beer, so it just kind of works out. But there's a show called Have a Drink that I'm a huge fan of, and one of their co-hosts, I guess he's still technically a co-host, even though his life is pure chaos, and something that I definitely understand in a way that I can't understand, though. He's got twin little kids and starting a brewery at the same time, and then thrown into this whole coronavirus shit. Casey Price is one of the owners, and he's the head brewer there, and he managed to sneak some beer up here to me through some of our mutual channels. So shout out to Have a Drink Show and Casey for tonight's beer. It's like I said, you can tell it's got real blueberries in it. A blueberry lager is not going to be anything that's going to blow your socks off. It's just going to be light, refreshing, fruity. Hang on, I'll tell you that though in a second. Oh yeah, that's good. The blueberry is big fruity flavor. But it is really easy drinking. I don't know a lot of the details about the base beer. I don't actually know off the top of my head a lot of the details about any of their beers. We should probably look it up while we talk. So Pikeville, Kentucky. Not much going on down there. I shouldn't even say that. That's not true. That is where Alltech just built their big new brewery distillery. Sorry, my phone is sitting too close and it's making noise. Anytime you ever hear that little noise on a podcast, it's because somebody's phone is too close to microphones. I don't even know if you guys could hear it. Broken Blue. Let's see. See what Untapped says. I have not been down to the brewery yet. Good Lord, only 6 check-ins. I guess that's what happens when you are in Pikeville. There's probably not a ton of people down there. On Untapped. Let's see if they have anything on their website about it. What's everybody been up to? Let's talk about that. Because my life is not nearly as exciting as I would like it to be. I don't get you guys know the world I live in. Getting out to tap rooms is very difficult. This last week has been extremely difficult, with my wife recovering from her surgery and everything. So I didn't get a brewcast out this week. I did manage to, record a semi sort of show. There's not even anything on their website. Confirm my date of birth. I just put my birth year in 100 years before I was actually born. I wonder if it would say anything. All right, so not a lot of information about individual beers, just what they have. Cans, they've got the Broken Blue, a Golden Summer Ale, Mexican Lager, and a Milk Stout right now. I said I do have the New England IPA, the Hazy IPA, Golly Snatcher. And then I've got some other IPA in there too that is a little older. I didn't pull it out because it's probably not fair to judge it because it is a little bit older. And who knows what? I think they brewed it like right before all hell broke loose. So you're talking March. Who knows what it's going to taste like? But it is also a bigger beer, so maybe it'll be good still. So yeah, on their website you can order, pick up if you are going to be in the Pikeville area. Do you guys want to talk about Oktoberfest beers, or do you want to talk about? I mean, seltzer is the world that I've been in lately. I'm prepping for this big seltzer show and writing. I think currently I have 4 different seltzer posts that I'm in the process of hammering out, in addition to like tasting notes and stuff, which is really ridiculous. Can we just address that right now, that writing tasting notes for a seltzer is damn near impossible? In theory, if you're going to brew a seltzer and it's going to be a perfect seltzer, it's just going to taste like fizzy water with fruit in it, right? So I can tell you which seltzers taste better than other ones, and I can tell you what I like or don't like about a seltzer, but actual tasting notes is ridiculous. Marco has already had Taft's Oktoberfest and Oktoberfest from Sonder. Out of those two, what were your thoughts? Because they're fairly similar beers. I think I haven't had Taft's this year, but they're both fest beers. Sonder to me has a little bit more of a malt presence to it, but they're both good beers. So I'm curious. And Left Hands, ooh, I haven't had. Did you have that at Montgomery Public House? I have not had Left Hands Oktoberfest, I think, ever. I mean, my first thought is, I didn't know they make an Oktoberfest, but of course they do. Fix the seasons, make October again. No, Oktoberfest is perfect for Oktoberfest. I enjoy being able to drink Oktoberfest beers while it's still hot outside, and then let them carry into the fall. I want Oktoberfests from now into October. And then right about October, I want it to switch, and I'll still drink Oktoberfest even after that, but then I want to switch into pumpkin beers, which is a whole different discussion if people are anti or pro pumpkin beer. But no, I am ready for Oktoberfest. I still think 13 Below's Fall Ale is my favorite locally. Hoping they bring it back this year. Not sure why they wouldn't, but with COVID crap, who knows? As far as I know, they're bringing it back this year. I don't have confirmation on that, but I also assume that they are. Season creep is real. No, this is not a case of that. Oktoberfest is just fine this time of year. You guys realize it's August, right? Like, August is Oktoberfest season. And yes, there were some out technically in July, but we're in August, and Oktoberfests are just fine for August. If it was Oktoberfest actual festivals, I don't want those until September, but the beers, bring it on. Bring it on all day long. I'm trying to pull up my Oktoberfest post right now to see the list. As of right now, mine is still in the tank. Yeah, there's a lot of them that are probably still in the tank. All right, let me count how many I have on my list right now. And granted, I do not have confirmation on all of these. That's why it's not posted yet. 2. I'm counting. I have 40 of them on the list. 40 different Oktoberfest beers in Cincinnati. Um, that is with several new ones. Several places are making both a fest beer and a Marzen, which I'm all about. There's one, two, three, four. Got four places that are making two of them. Figs. I had the fig leaf one last year. Yeah, there's 72 is that's actually not a bad guess. Yeah, I've got fig leaves on there, assuming it's named the same thing as it was last year, right on time. Yeah, I love, and there are there's I heard it was coming into cans this year too. Is that right? Um, there are a lot of them making it into cans this year, especially because of kind of um, the way the world has shifted. But to see 50 West putting their in cans, to see Madtree putting theirs in cans, like that's a Fretboard putting theirs in cans. It's awesome. Is someone making an Oktoberfest seltzer? I hope not. Since we're nearing pumpkin season, the creep is real. Any pumpkin seltzers in the works? Kidding, not kidding. I do not know for a fact that anybody has a pumpkin seltzer in the works, but there is no possible way that somebody won't do it. You've got places like Municipal that that they're doing a lot of their flavoring afterwards, so you can really do just about whatever flavor you want. It would be stupid not to try a pumpkin just to see what it's like. Yeah, I don't know. Seltzers. I kind of alluded to it a little bit. The only post, and if you really want to call it a post, the page that I have up about seltzer, which you can go to thegnarlygnome.com/seltzer, and it'll take you to all of the latest seltzer news of Cincinnati when I start posting stuff on there. I alluded in there a little bit kind of how I feel about seltzer, and we've talked about it so many times, it's probably stupid to talk about it again, but there is no situation that I have found yet where I want a seltzer over a beer. That's me because I love beer. But it's very similar in the same way where if it's a booze night in my house and I want to drink booze, there is no situation where I want vodka over gin or whiskey or something else that has some more flavor to it. And so I think for me, that I kind of lump seltzer into a category that I also put something like vodka in. We've opened Pandora's seltzer skin again. I can't, even just the mention of seltzer, and I can't help but go down the rabbit hole. It's so strange because it's not that I don't like it. It's not bad. I just, I don't know. Didn't Wooden Cask release their pumpkin? If they didn't already release it, it's really soon. I know they were bottling it the other day, so it should be out really soon. Their pumpkin is really good. I don't know how many pumpkins we'll see this year. I think there's probably a lot of places that would have done a pumpkin, but that might be a little bit terrified to be sitting on pumpkin for a long time after October. If you're not packaging it, how do you get rid of it? It's not like your tap room's full of people. So, but I love pumpkin beers. I hope that we get more than like one or two of them this year. I'm actually, just off the top of my head, the only one that I know for a fact is coming um, is wooden casks. What do you guys think about pumpkin? Do you guys like pumpkin beer? Is that still a discussion anymore? I know, what was it, like 4 or 5 years ago? There was the great pumpkin crash, and then it was followed up very quickly with no pumpkin beer that next year, which was heartbreaking. And then it came back a little bit um, next year. Oh, that's true. Listerman, I can almost guarantee will have basic back, but it's packaged. Um, that pumpkin making. I see you on. Yes, Rebecca. It's not the pumpkin making me sleepy. It is the lack of sleep that makes me sleepy. So um, last night, the 3-year-old decided she was not going to go to bed until midnight, and so she was up until midnight, just fighting and yelling, and it was just this horrible, horrible battle in our house. And then, of course, I have to get up before dawn. Yeah, coffee good. Oh, jeez. Can't talk about it or else it makes me yawn. So I get up between 5 and 5:30, depending on the day. So that's way less sleep than I really need. That's way less sleep than I desperately need. Pumpkin beers are a hit and miss for me. Some of them are phenomenal. Some of them are just meh. But I'm always about trying them. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. And there aren't many seasonal beers that I can't drink outside of their season. Like Oktoberfest, like we talked about. I'm okay with an Oktoberfest beer in July. I'm okay with an Oktoberfest beer in December. It's all good for me. You give me an Oktoberfest in, April, and I'll still be okay with it. That's not the case with pumpkin beer. With pumpkin beer, I only want it in October. And then as soon as Halloween is over with, I'm kind of done with it. If it's more of like a more of a fall kind of thing, if it's not as pumpkin spicy kind of thing, that might be able to stretch a little longer for me. But as long as it's not that cough you had for 6 months, I think I'm good with the cough. Although it'll probably be back. Who knows? See, now it's going to get in my head and I'm going to start coughing. The only other seasonal that I think is like that with me, like Oktoberfest, is the Christmas beers. I don't normally want a Christmas beer. Oh, Jesus. Sorry. Outside of, Christmas season. Christmas in general. Winter in general, I should say. I don't really like winter all that much. I enjoy it a lot until like New Year's, and then once New Year's hit, I'm just done with it. I'm good with pumpkin beers through Thanksgiving. That's a good point. Thanksgiving, yeah, I could definitely do pumpkin beers up to Thanksgiving. Spruce tips and stouts, yes. What about Christmas ale after Christmas? Maybe like around New Year's, but after that, no, I just want like a good big stout, barley wines, things like that. I desperately need to drink through the cellar this winter. I have so many things that probably are gonna hit their prime here soon if they haven't already that need consumed. And that's my goal this winter, is to hide in the basement and drink a bunch of big beers that I've been sitting on. I still have a ton of dark charge that I need to get through and stuff like that. And speaking of dark charge, I know that they have said that it's going to be an online only event this year, but I don't actually know what that's going to look like, and kind of makes me sad. Do you like summer styles released in February? That depends for me. So I'm okay with like a summer beer or something that's summery in February if it's like a nice sunny day. If it kind of makes me feel like spring is coming, I'm all about it. If it's cold and wintry in February, no, I don't want a summer trip or what is the summer shandy or something like that. No, I I still want to drink my stouts and porters and barley wines and stuff like that. Not that I won't. If you put it in front of me, I'll drink it and I'll be just as happy drinking it. But if you ask me what I want, um, I definitely don't want a summer beer in February. But that's me. I'm a very seasonal kind of drinker. I drink to what's happening, you know, around me. Although not tonight. It's like a rainy, kind of miserable night. At least it sounds like it's rainy and miserable. And I'm drinking a blueberry lager, so that's kind of a summer beer, right? Although it is still summer, it just doesn't feel like it, I guess. When you're sitting in a basement, you can hear rain, and who knows. Bach after Bachfest. Yes, I can do Bach after Bachfest. Um, I can do Bach pretty well year round. I think. I think. Uh, yeah, with maybe with maybe with a lot of lagers, unless they are like a Christmas lager where it's loaded with a bunch of spices or something. Most lagers I can do all year round, regardless of what they are. I think. Everything that I'm thinking of off the top of my head, I could drink year round. I'll have a Bach after Bachfest, but I don't want to have kegs of it year round. Well, so are you talking about from a drinking perspective or from a brewery perspective? So no, if you're a brewery, you don't want kegs of it sitting around. We love our Bachs in Cincinnati, but good luck selling them after March. I feel like Bachfest was just the Bachfest holiday to me is not just Bachfest. It lasts all through March. And I feel like we missed it so much this year because of all this stuff that happened halfway through March. A Bach once in a while is nice. I agree. I like Bach. Bach is definitely one of my favorite styles. It does not come close to Oktoberfest, though. Oktoberfest is easily my favorite style. Well, yeah, it might be my favorite style of beer. I think I've probably said that about a handful of styles. So who knows which one's really my favorite. But right now, in August, Oktoberfest is definitely my favorite style of beer. And I would be happy with half of my fridge being full of Oktoberfest. That does not happen any other time of year. So I normally try to, and just talking about my main beer fridge that's behind the bar. I usually try to keep it really, really well, like distributed with what types of beer are in there. I have the main shelf in there. There's, I don't know, 6 or 7 rows, and each row kind of has a theme. You've got, I'd have to look to make sure I don't miss one, but you've got a sour row of beer. You have dark beer, so porters and stouts and things like that. You have seasonal, so depending on what's going on seasonally, sometimes it'll be kind of fruit beer, sometimes it'll be a different kind of dark beer, something. You've got hops, so you've got your IPAs and things like that get their own row. Again, I'm gonna miss a bunch of them because I'm not looking at it. But I love English milds. Yeah, that is also one of my favorite styles. Good point. I love English milds. I am obsessed. Brink has Little Duncan Clan on right now. Did you get a fridge for seltzer? Sort of, but no. I have behind the bar. There's 2 fridges, and then there's one fridge in here, and then there's one in the garage. The one in the garage has pretty much become a seltzer fridge at this point. But that's that is not for me. That's my wife. 100% that's my wife. That's where we keep like garage beer out there. She's probably got some Coke and stuff out there too for company or whatever. But that's that one. Down here, the second fridge that's behind the bar is a smaller fridge, and that's where I keep like vermouth and when I have orange juice or half and half or something for cocktails, like that goes in that fridge. That's also where the seltzer goes behind the bar. Yeah, I almost, depending on how you look at it, I might have two fridges for seltzer. Because the one in the garage and the one behind the bar. But the one behind the bar is mostly full of booze, like there between, if you want to consider vermouth booze. But there's several bottles of vermouth in there, and then I think there's a jar of some moonshine in there because I like moonshine cold. There might be some vodka in there. I don't even know. There's probably some canned wine that's been in there for a really long time. There might be some cider in there. It's like non-beer stuff goes in there. But going back, so the rows, I usually try to keep it very well distributed of different styles in each row. And then the bottom is kind of a mishmash. But the only time of year that really changes is Oktoberfest, and I will fill probably half of that fridge with different Oktoberfest beers. And that's not just because I like to write about them and try them all and share them with everybody, but it is 100% just because I love drinking them so much. Oktoberfests are one of those few styles where you can sit down, you can pour it in a glass and really fuss over it and kind of take your time with it. Or you can pour it in a big ass mug and just drink it, and it goes down so easy. Like, it's just to me, it's the perfect style of beer. But yes, I do love English mild. I guess English mild is very similar on that same kind of plane where you can fuss over it or you can just drink it a whole bunch. I was talking about that Brink's Little Duncan Clan. That was going to make it onto Prost, and I had a crowler of it. And the seal on the crowler was not great, and it started leaking just a little bit. And instead of quickly recording an episode of Prost, I said, screw this, and I just sat down and drank it. Sorry. Should you text Justin and check in on him? Yeah. He is usually on here, isn't he? Well, maybe he's doing something more important. Who knows? I'll send him a text after the show. Make sure he's okay. Sometimes he gets busy with other things other than us. Who knows? This beer's really good. It's funny to me. Pikeville is weird. So it's funny to me that there is a brewery in Pikeville because it's a tiny little town in Kentucky. But then the fact that not only is there a brewery there, there's two breweries there. And a distillery, which is, the same as one of the breweries, and it's all tech, and that's where they've decided to build. It's crazy, absolutely crazy that the way that little town has, I guess, embraced this whole thing, this whole craft beer thing. There was an article on Brewbound today that was kind of crazy. So it's of course about seltzer. Craft beer is the good news, I guess. Off-premise category dollar sales for the week were up 14.7% to $1.036 billion for beer. So that's the 10th consecutive week that beer sales have topped $1 billion. Now that's off-premise, so that's because people aren't drinking in places anymore. It's all off-premise. So that's not really surprising. It's crazy that it's 10 weeks in a row that it's topped $1 billion. But the interesting part of that is that seltzer, this is also the 10th consecutive week that off-premise dollar sales of hard seltzers has surpassed $100 million. Getting even crazier, the beer category in general, craft beer makes up 11.7% of beer that's sold. However, beer that is sold also includes seltzer. Seltzer is classified as beer in all of these numbers. And seltzer now accounts for 10.5% of beer sold. So seltzer is 10.5%. Craft beer is at 11.7%. So while no, seltzer is not taking away from craft beer, in theory, it is going to surpass craft beer sales, which is mind-blowing to me. And I still can't really wrap my head around it. But that's the latest news in the seltzer world. And I probably should have written something about it and put it on the website so that it would fall into that nice little seltzer page. But I didn't, and I'm sorry. But there is stuff coming, I promise. I think I posted the July beer releases finally. See if it pops up on the main page. I did. The Great Cincinnati Beer Release Roundup for August of 2020. I did that, so Oktoberfest is coming soon, the Oktoberfest beers. And then we'll get to everything else. I have so many other things on my to-do list to get written about. Sorry. It's busy. It's really busy. This week's I have a little thing for that. This week on the Brewcast. There we go. This week on the Brewcast, nothing. No, it's not true. I was holed up here in the house, but I did call Danny from Sonder because I was drinking their new Giga Coaster, their hoppy lager that they did with Kings Island. So I called him and had him kind of sit on the show for 15, 20 minutes or something, just to kind of make it a little more show-like. But next week on the Brewcast, pretend that this says this right here. I can't figure out pointing on this thing. Pretend that it says next week on Cincy Brewcast. Nine Giant. I'm finally getting another show with Nine Giant, sitting down and talking to them about this expansion that everybody's been talking about with the fermentorium, I think is how you pronounce it. That is finally getting close. It's finally moving, and Giga Coaster. It's good beer. So I'm excited to sit down and talk to them. Like I said, it's been a really long time since I see if I can pull up when the last time I did an episode with them was. It's weird sometimes. Not that it, isn't. Not that I don't think about some of those places, but other things just kind of fall into place, and it makes it really hard sometimes to keep up with everybody. Wait, what? You didn't know about the Nine Giant expansion? Well, let me tell you, tune in next Monday to Cincy Brewcast. We'll talk all about it. Yeah, so the last time I sat down with them was 2016, if my quick searching in my notes is right. That's insane that it's been 4 years. It's hard because there are so many places that when I actually sit down and I do the math and think about it, I'm like, oh my God, I haven't been there in 3 years or 4 years or whatever it is. Like, I need to do that. It's really hard. And then there's a handful of places that are new that I'm like, oh, I got to talk to them. Places that are getting ready to open that I would love to talk about now, that I would love to get them on the show before they open. I think that's a really, really fun look into what a place is going to be, and then kind of exploring with them as they grow. Like that's, the places that were on the show before they opened, be it Darkness or Alexandria, whoever it is, that we got to kind of be with them throughout that whole journey on the show. Like, that's really, really cool stuff. And to be able to have that kind of saved in the world, I think is really cool, that you can, in 10 years, a brewery that is going to then be, one of the elder statesmen of a beer community, that you can look back and kind of see that journey. I wish that I was better about rotating through breweries and getting to everybody on a more timely basis. To mention a comment you made on Facebook, Rock Bottom brewed beer here. BJ's does not brew beer at their locations. I didn't say anything about BJ's on there, did I? Because no, Rock Bottom definitely counts as a Cincinnati brewery. They brewed beer here. They brewed beer that was exclusive to here. They brewed award-winning beer. BJ's, as much as they are technically a craft brewery, but they don't make beer here. They are, in my book, and I actually need to figure out how to communicate this on the blog. BJ's is not mentioned anywhere on my website right now, but they are probably going to be in some amount of the near future. I don't know what near future means. Oh, I haven't gone back to that post yet to see what the comments have been, but BJ's is a craft brewery, and they have a tap room here. So on paper, there is nothing different to me than from a BJ's to a platform or a BrewDog, other than Ohio or non-Ohio. But that's my stance on that. And now I lost my train of thought of what I was talking about. Oh, Lord. Oh, talking about rotating through breweries. I wish I was better about getting to everybody, because I think it would be fun to be able to, once a year, get kind of an update on a brewery kind of from them and from their voices, and kind of do it that way. Easy with some places, extremely difficult with others. Some places are really hard to book shows with, and if you start doing the math, you can probably figure out who those are. Although that's probably not true, because like Nine Giant, it's like I said, been 4 years since I've done a show with them. It's not that it was hard. BJ sends each place the wort, and they ferment at the brewery. At least that's what I recall. That is, from what I understand, that is not true at all. They have no active fermenters. At least this is the location that's closest to me. There's no real fermenters. They have like a small fermenter that they use to make root beer, but they don't know. There is no active fermentation that is happening in. They don't have a brewing license. They don't have. No, that is not correct. There may be some locations where that is what happens, but it is certainly not at any of the, what is there, 3 locations here in Cincinnati: Tri-County, Hyde Park, Florence. I think that's, and then there's one like in Springboro. No, they are just and even calling them a tap room seems weird, because of kind of how they're set up, but I guess technically they're a tap room. If they're a craft brewery and they're serving their beer on tap, by definition, I guess, right? All right, well, we're like at 45 minutes, so I should probably start wrapping this up, but Hey, I'll look into it again too. Like I said, there is no mention of BJ's on my website at all right now, but there probably will be as this world keeps kind of changing. The definitions of it all keep kind of shifting and changing, and to kind of put clarity onto whatever, like if I'm going to talk about platform, why don't I talk about BJ's? If I'm going to talk about BrewDog, why don't I talk about BJ's? It's that line gets blurred, and you gotta figure that out. I guess it makes it all really difficult. Like when somebody asks, "How many breweries are there?" I don't know. I have no idea anymore. I don't know. Depends on how you count it. None of it's fair. All right. Tune in to Cincy Brewcast next week. 9 Giant, the first show in 4 years. Oh, yes. See, thank you for reminding me. You guys need to vote on what the next episode of Prost is. So we'll throw Golly Snatcher in there too. I can record it this week. When I do, I'll probably throw a couple more into the recording, but let me look and see what I have recorded right now. And any of these are up for grabs. I have 3 of them completed right now. We've got Rivertown's Orange Bird. What are you hearing about Cartridge Brewing? I saw they got tanks. Yes, they've had tanks for a little bit, and their sign went up officially. I think they're still a little while off on construction inside, so I guess this year is possible, but I would say next year is my guess. So Rivertown, Orange Bird, Birkus, Juggalotes, Saunders Oktoberfest are the 3 that are ready to go, and then we'll throw Golly Snatcher in there too. So pick one of those 4, and that will be this week's episode of Prost. And then next week on the Weekly Pint, hopefully I'll have 2 or 3 more beers to throw into your voting, and we'll get a nice little stockpile of Prost episodes. I'm also, I don't know if I should, I'm toying around with an idea, an Oktoberfest idea that's video related, but I'm afraid to say that because I don't know if I'm going to be able to have time to do it. Time is the most valuable thing in my life right now, so I can't promise, but keep your eyes open because if I do, it'll be fun. I really want to start doing more video stuff. I'm going to start doing more video stuff, but I don't know when. Golly Snatcher. That's exactly how you spell it. It's my first pick, and then Juggalotes. Drink the circus beer. Birkus beer. Yeah. I mean, I already drank some. I already drank it. This is in the past. It's a good beer. Spoiler alert. Juggalotes. So 2 votes for Juggalotes. Sort of 1.5 votes for Juggalotes. 1 for Golly Snatcher. All right, we'll do Juggalotes this week, and I'll record Golly Snatcher too. So we'll put it into next week's vote, and hopefully I'll do a couple other beers with that too. I'll probably throw Mad Tree's Oktoberfest in there. I haven't done a lot of Mad Tree beers on there, have I? I did Shade. Okay. It has been decided. I need a sound effect. Thank you guys, and we'll be back next Monday where we do this again. Hopefully we'll have another week where I'm able to stay somewhat on time as far as starting the show. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for a little bit and talking beer and talking seltzer, because seltzer is not beer in my world, but I guess in everybody else's it is. Oh, it gets more and more complicated. If you don't already and you want to support the show, thegnarlygnome.com/support or thegnarlygnome.com/shop. You can buy stuff. I think shipping is almost going to be back to normal. I think this month it's all supposed to be back to normal, so you can get stuff on a normal time frame. Sorry for those of you who bought stuff that didn't come quickly. The weekly skinny can. That's another show. We'll that's a whole nother show. Maybe that'll be Wednesday live streams. Cheers, guys. Thank you. Find my button there. Thanks, guys.